Good news, we're 2-0. Bad news, a couple people went down with injuries, and the only one that I'm really concerned about was Devontae Maddox. Quez Watkins had a hamstring. I'm not worried about that. We know Bradbury was out, and Nakobe Dean is out. Boston Scott went out with a rib injury, I believe, or something along those lines. I don't remember. No, concussion, something like that. But outside of that, this game, I'd give it a solid. I'm nice. I'm a nice fan here. I'm not going to be too overcritical because it's only week 2 if you count the fact that this was on a short week. I give it a B minus. And I say that because the offense finally figured things out for the most part in the late second quarter into the third quarter specifically when they started running the football like how they should have been doing since week 1 against the Patriots on Sunday, but that's neither here nor there. You know, Brian Johnson, man, like I don't know what you're doing half the time when it comes to play calling, the pass plays especially, but I swear, like I know Hurts had that bad interception. That's all him, 100%, and he'll own up to it. But for the majority of the first half, he did not look comfortable when he was dropping back, and the defense that Brian Flores and the Vikings were running, they had a lot of extra help in the secondary, but they were also getting a lot of push on our offensive line, which is another concern that I have, is what's happening with our pass blocking. I mean, I'm seeing Mailata and Lane Johnson actually deal with a lot more than I'm expecting them to, and Landon Dickerson on the one big play that Swift has that gets called back for a freaking penalty on holding, which, by the way, referees, would you mind looking at the guys that are holding Hassan Reddick half the time? Because, my goodness, I'm questioning where he's at, and then I watch him. He's getting double-teamed, like, pancaked, jerseys being pulled and everything. Like, can you call something on him? But then we get a little call on Rashad Penny where he was holding the shoulder, but he wasn't, like, deliberately pulling him back. And it took away an A.J. Brown touchdown, but whatever, you know, whatever. I can complain about referees no matter how in the right I am, and fans will still, you know, fans of other teams will still call me a crybaby, so who cares? But yeah, outside of the Hurts interception, Brian Johnson's play calling has been very questionable until he started to run the football and things started to open up more. You saw the potential with those with the touchdown pass to Devontae Smith. Great on him. He looked really good. A.J. Brown's touchdown that got called back, and the near second one that he almost had right after that. I mean, the potential's all there, and I'm okay with us struggling now. I'd rather have these struggles happen now than in December when we're playing the Cowboys and the Bills and the Niners and the Chiefs, you know? Like, that's not when I want this to happen. Have it happen now against the Buccaneers, against the Vikings, against the Patriots. You know, this is a good time for this stuff to happen, but you obviously want to see some improvement. And that's where running the football came in. I feel like they were running the ball too much with Jalen Hurts to no avail, because 9 out of 10 times you see him in the read option, he's taking the ball. And while sometimes, most of the times it works, lately it hasn't been, because that's all we're doing. We're not giving the football off to our running backs. We're not utilizing them. And I want to see Dallas Goedert get more involved down the field, you know, up the middle maybe, you know, where he'll excel at breaking tackles and getting yards after the catch. I'm just saying. No complaints for Smith or Brown, really. Like, Brown will have his day. He had 79 yards week 1. This was Devontae Smith's day. He had a phenomenal game, which is great, and I'm glad. We know Quez Watkins was out with a hamstring, so we didn't get to see much of anyone else in the wide receiver category, but at the same time, you have running backs that are capable of carrying you and, you know, making things a little easier for your quarterback and your wide receivers. Utilize that. I'm glad to see the quarterback sneak get utilized as well. Things that work, things that are easy, and things that we know we can do. You know, we're finally doing them again. It took a week for some reason, but hey, outside of that, I know that the defense struggled at certain points, and we allowed a lot more points than we should have against the Vikings with all the turnovers that they committed. However, I blame that a lot on Brian Johnson's play calling early on when we had 3 of those turnovers and did nothing with 2 of them. Secondly, injuries. Reed Blankenship wasn't in. Avonte Maddox went out with a shoulder injury. We were already down James Bradbury. So the secondary was very, very slim, very, very weak. A lot of youngsters and Darius Slay out there, and he couldn't do everything. Eventually, Justin Jefferson was going to get loose, and we had a couple of big plays let out. But at the same time, that pass rush looked pretty good. I was very happy with that. Seeing Fletcher Cox recover a strip sack from Josh Sweat was great. Seeing Sweat do a lot while Reddick is kind of struggling to get into a rhythm, it seems, with the double coverage that he's been getting on the line. The team stepped up when it needed to, and the pass rush was doing its thing. The linebackers weren't too bad. But overall, there's obviously things that need to be improved, and the more we get removed from the game, the more that we'll look into it. But as of right now, we're 2-0. These were the toughest games to start the season because 2 games within the span of 5 nights, and you're traveling a lot. You don't have enough time to practice, and you're still de-rusting. Like, this team is clearly de-rusting, and by the time they got into the swing of things, it was the third quarter. That's how it is. And we finally started to put up points. We started to finally put up drives, long extended drives. We won the time of possession battle, which I talked about on Sunday, which was humongous. We need to win that all the time. And then we just got to get healthy. Thankfully, we have a week and a few extra days since we play on Monday night next against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we can enjoy Sunday football and, heal up, get ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't be too critical. Don't be too harsh about this. Like, I know we're Philly and we get that rap about being, really intense fans, and we are, but this is different right now because we're dealing with new coaches, and de-rusting and injuries are happening because of how long it's been since these people have played. So I'm trying to be a little light, and I always am optimistic. I'm never too harsh or anything or overly critical, but there are areas that I want to see these guys improve. Like I mentioned, Hurts' interception, very bad. Like, you cannot miss that linebacker in a cover 0 situation, man. Like, that was rough, but he bounced back from that. Through that beauty of a pass to Devontae Smith to make up for it. Had that QB sneak that also made up for it as well. So, I mean, again, he makes up for his mistakes, and we ended up winning the football game. And he'll take accountability, and at least ball handling today was better. Things like that. But at the end of the day, we're 2-0. Let's enjoy the win. Got a lot to clean up, and that's a good thing given that it's only September. So if we can clean those things up and keep getting better, that's all that matters. Go Birds.